33. I'd like to call the meeting to order. First item on our agenda is the need to go into executive session, with the recommended action being a motion to go into executive session for discussion on the employment history of a particular persons and pending litigation.
Moved.
Moved, Mr. Kenline.
Second.
Second, Mr. Borkett.
Oh. Oops.
We've gone back and forth on how we're doing that,
I
so.
Wondering why you were looking over here.
The motion passes, and we are in executive session as of 6:34. We will exit executive session no later than 7 p.m. to continue with our regular schedule. Huh? So we'll stand here until our comes. All right, we'll make an executive decision. All right. All right, the time is 7:08. We are out of executive session. I apologize for a slight delay. We'll be moving forward in our meeting agenda, continuing on with our opening, beginning with land acknowledgement by Mr. Borkett.
The Akron Central School District acknowledges that we gather on the traditional lands of the Tonawanda Seneca Nation. We honor the contributions of the indigenous peoples past, present, and future with gratitude for the land as we continue to work together with a spirit of respect and understanding.
All right, with that, I'd ask everybody to rise, join me in the pledge to the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mission movers.
So we are very excited and honored this evening to recognize our Board of Education as our mission movers as we celebrate School Board Appreciation Week. And I would ask our board members in a choral response, if you could please read our mission statement for us.
Just giving Ms. Kafka a moment.
Thank you, sorry.
Not a problem.
Oh, okay.
Can we have a C? No. The mission of the Akron Central School District, a learning-centered community dedicated to the dreams of our students, is to ensure that each student realizes his or her unique human potential and contributes positively to society through a system characterized by valuing the unique gifts and dreams of each person, developing all dimensions of each human being, advancing the knowledge, skills, and wisdom of each student, nurturing and respecting the dignity of each human being, cooperatively working to continuously create new realities.
Excellent job, everyone. After hearing our district's mission, it only is fitting that we take a moment to honor the people who help bring that mission to life every day. Our Board of Education, you are our mission movers. Through your leadership, your countless hours of service, your unwavering dedication, you help create the conditions where every student can truly thrive. You don't do this work for recognition or applause. You do it out of love for our children, for our school, and our community. Your guidance and compassion and your steady belief in what's possible make a difference. Every meeting, every decision, every moment you spend working on behalf of Akron students. On behalf of our entire district family, thank you for moving our mission forward with heart, with vision, and with a shared belief in what makes Akron so special, our students, our staff, and our community. So more than a certificate, we have a few special things planned for you today, and we'll start with a musical performance.
So this evening we have two outstanding senior musicians. So obviously Miss Courtney Sandville, who was their teacher for 6+ years. Emma Leonard, senior, Lanapole College senior, awesome musicians and great students and great people. So they got a piece they're gonna play for you tonight. Theme around Halloween.
It is.
All right.
I just want to give you a tidbit. Thank you on behalf of the music department and their families. Both of these students are choosing to go into music education next year in college. So they would not probably have chosen that if they didn't have all these opportunities here at Akron. So thank you on our behalf for all of the things that you guys support for us. They will be performing Dance Macabre, which is a very Halloween-themed duet.
So we also have a little video for the Board of Ed as well. So Mike, if you would not play it right now. So we got a 1.5-minute video for y'all.
Thank you, Board of Education, for everything you do.
Thanks, Mom, for all the time and effort you put into the school board.
Thank you, school board.
Thank you, Mom, for being happy.
Thank you, Board of Education. Happy Board Appreciation Week. Thank you for all you do, Daddy. Thank you, school board. Thank you for the school board. Thank you to the school board.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Math. All the nice teachers and all the good work they do for us.
One thing I like about Akron is the cardboard boat race. What do you like about Akron?
Recess.
I am thankful for the opportunities we get at the school.
We all would like to thank the Board of Ed for Board Appreciation Month, for all you do and this hard, thankless job that you do for all of us here. You're very supportive, and we do appreciate that. If we don't say it, we do. We love you, we love this district, and go Tigers!
And we do have one more present for you on behalf of our administrative team. We utilized our very own Tigers Innovations class to provide you with something special for this evening. Alex was part of it. He was a very good salesperson. So if you wouldn't mind opening up one of the first Tigers Innovations customers.
All right.
And somebody has to open it up because I'm dying to see what it looks like out of the package.
Oh, cool.
So designed from start to finish by Tigers Innovation.
Nice. Thank you so much.
Very professionally done. Nice job, everybody.
That's awesome.
Also, thank you to the PTA, who I see provided a very nice spread for the board and
Oh, that was,
yeah.
I thought it was just for show. I would have dug in.
You have something to look forward to.
Plastic fruit.
Are you gonna model?
Oh, there you go.
Oh, that looks great.
Very nice. Well, thank you all, the musical interlude, the video. It's much appreciated. I know I can speak for all the other members of the board that I know first and foremost, the concern is always in regards to the students and trying to provide the best opportunities and experiences possible. So it's greatly appreciated. Thank you. Moving on then, our presentations. Ms. Quinones with the Montreal trip.
Evening, everyone. How are you? If you don't know me, my name is Melissa Quinones. I'm the high school Spanish teacher along with Mrs. Heimiller, and I brought a handout if anyone needs one. I'm presenting a trip to Montreal for 4 days, April 24th to the 27th. No, it is not a Spanish trip, but we did New York City last year, and I thought about Chicago, but that wasn't a good fit right now with some, current political situations and things. So I'm looking at this more as a cultural trip, just going out and seeing Canada. It doesn't seem so exotic, but if you've never been to Montreal or to the Quebec area, it's very, very different compared to the rest of Canada. It's extremely European looking and feeling. The fact that people don't speak English, even though we don't know French, it's still being immersed in a culture where it's not our first language, and students have to navigate how it might be if they were to travel to Europe or someplace where not very many people are speaking English. So I chose Montreal. We did this trip back in 2016 with Lauren Demon as the lead teacher on this. And the itinerary is very, very similar. We would leave Akron, take a motor coach bus up to Montreal, spend 2.5 days there, come back on a Monday. So students would be missing 1 day of school on Monday because we would leave after school on Friday. You know, we have a full itinerary planned of sites to see, different cathedrals, the bio park, going to a traditional sugar shack where they make maple syrup and the traditional Quebec dance. Oh, that's right, Mr. Pulaski.
Light up from across.
We might have to bring back a souvenir. But yeah, it's very, very, you know, the traditional dancing, traditional music. The kids had a great time in 2016 when we did this. So we're trying it again. It's a off year for the band, so we're not competing with the band for students. So we have a lot more students to pool from to hopefully be able to go on this trip. Everything is paid for by the students, so there's no cost to the district. It would be myself and 3 other chaperones who would be other teachers from the high school. I've used this particular company, Travelogues, for the last 20 years, since I did my first trip here in 2004, and it's been the same company ever since. They're extremely reputable. 2 people on the board here went on the New York City trip last year, so they can attest to how organized it is, how it's such a good value for the money, because they really pack in so many activities for the students to be able to, take advantage of. And I think that's about all I have to say, but I would love to answer any and all questions that you have regarding this.
Is this just for high school students?
It's just for high school students, 9 through 12. It is open to anyone. They don't have to be in Spanish, but they do have to be in good academic standing and good behavioral standing, because this is overnight, technically out of the country. So, I want to bring people that I feel are trustworthy, that if there is some time where students do get to go and walk around by themselves in an area to go to lunch with their friends or do a little shopping or something. And even when we're in certain places like the Biodome, which is kind of like a zoo, it's like their take on, it's separated into different areas of the world. They are not with a chaperone, so I need to feel that people are trustworthy and that they're going to choose to do the right thing and represent their school and also meet back at the appropriate time and, things like that. So, but it is open to everyone, so they don't have to be a Spanish student to be able to go. So anybody in the high school that fits those parameters are welcome to join us.
How many students are you approximately looking at?
Well, I would like to get 40 because the price is based on the more kids you get, the less it is. So if we can get 40 to 50 students, the price would be $839, and then after that, it goes up, in different price brackets based on the number. We need at least 20 students to be able to have the trip in general, but we're looking for 40. Last year, we made it to 36 with the New York City trip, which I thought was pretty fair considering some kids couldn't go because of the band trip. So I'm hoping that since there is no band trip, we'll be able to, hopefully reach that 40 mark.
And do you have just just along the lines of accommodations that are you limited to 40 or you can go higher?
Well, we're limited to 51 because that's how many spaces are on the motor coach bus. Because what would happen is if it's over 51, then you'd have to fill a second bus, and that would be pretty impossible.
Correct.
So, but then it's 4 to a room for students, 2 to a room for the chaperones. Same thing as in New York City, it was 4 to a room. Sometimes kids luck out with uneven numbers, and we've had kids where it's only 2 to a room, so they each get their own queen-size bed for the night, and they feel kind of lucky on that, or we've had 3 to a room instead of 4. But we've had really, really good luck. There is nighttime security between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. And by 5 a.m., if they're not sleeping, they're not sleeping at all for the rest of the night. But usually the nighttime security, they just kind of sit there and they kind of make sure everybody's staying in their hotel rooms. No one's opening the door for any reasons, things like that, or obviously leaving. So that's just nice because then the chaperones also can feel like they get a good night's sleep as well, and that we're not up all night kind of patrolling, taking turns. So that is included with the cost. So everything is included with the cost. The motor coach, the hotel, all the admissions to the different places. The tour guide, we do have a tour guide in Montreal from the city who takes us around and kind of helps us navigate. The nighttime security, gratuities to the bus driver, and also the money that you pay the travel agency for organizing all this. So, and all the dinners as well, and breakfast is included at the hotel.
Since this is international travel, identification requirements are students going to need smart ID, passports?
It's amazing if they have a passport, if they have enhanced licenses but for the younger kids, because it is a school-sponsored trip, I would write a letter that Mr. Dimitrov would sign, and it would have a list of students named on there saying, we know that this is a school trip. It's signed off on by the principal of the high school, and then students need their original birth certificate and photo ID. So they could have their Akron just school ID with their birth certificate if they're too young to have a license or even a permit, because I guess now you can also get an enhanced learner's permit as well as just having the enhanced actual driver's license. So, yes, and when we went to Toronto several years ago, it was just a day trip with the seniors. I took them. We didn't have any issues crossing the border. Some kids had the official documents. Some kids just had their original paper birth certificate, and it was fine because it was a school trip.
Any other questions? Okay.
Thank you I know it's a tremendous amount of work as well as a tremendous amount of responsibility to travel a little bit further from home. So thank you for creating opportunities for our students to experience new possibilities.
Thank you for listening to my presentation, and if you have any other questions, please feel free to email me at work here, and I'll get back to you very, very quickly. So, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next presentation, Ms. Hawkins, in regards to graduation requirements and FFA.
So Mrs. Hawkins is going to share some regional work that she's been a part of, as well as some other members of our Akron family to help in preparation for graduation requirements, as well as an update of what we learned about bringing an FFA chapter to Akron, that possibility.
We've done some good research on both fronts. I don't have a mouse, so I'm going to just maybe signal to Mike to flip through. So we have had the opportunity to participate in the New York State Inspires PLC. It's offered through Erie One BOCES. Quite a few schools are participating. I'm not going to read that paragraph, but that's kind of how it was billed. But basically, it's a collaborative opportunity for school districts to bring members of their staff that will be impacted and have conversations around kind of what we are doing to prepare to meet these state regulations as they move forward. You can see that there are 5-6 states there. We will meet throughout the year, which is exciting because we anticipate that we will learn more as we go. We will hear more from the state in terms of timelines and deadlines and things like that. So we'll be able to come back together and collaborate throughout the year, which is great. We've already had one meeting, as you can see, on September 16th, and we go back in November. We were offered from BOCES 4 spots. I brought 6 people because I thought they wouldn't be checking, and I wanted this diverse team with us, all hearing the same message and participating. So I did cheat a little, but I am not sorry because I think it was really, really awesome to have this table of individuals all sitting around having collaborative conversations about how we can best support our students. So David Brick was able to join us right before he became a father. Nicole Johnson, our high school counselor, one of our math teachers, Jerry Diletti. Lacey Cochran is a middle school social studies teacher. She is also our Goal 3 academic innovation coach. I joined, and Mary File was also there. So it was a nice, diverse group of people. On our first meeting, I just kind of copied and pasted the agenda so you can kind of see some of the work that we did. We did really look at the portrait of a graduate definitions, and I know they're super tiny, but if you were able to blow up that wheel, we have these 6 criteria that the state is going to be looking for us to be able to basically put on a transcript and certify that our students who are graduating Akron have met certain checkpoints and certain proficiencies in those areas. So we did a lot of conversation at our tables and with other schools on what that kind of means in our world and through our lens. So again, really good conversations there. We did a little case study on the Ulster BOCES, and I can share more about that if anyone's interested, but there's a BOCES that's doing some interesting work kind of getting ahead of the curve with project-based learning and that type of thing. We were able to do a collaborative activity where we broke up into groups and met with a number of colleagues from other districts and moved around through each of these assets and talked about kind of initiatives in other districts that are already taking place that will support some of these attributes. So it was a really fruitful visit, I thought. I pulled 2 slides out of the slide deck from that first meeting that I just thought were relevant. If you were on the board previously or you've been following this at all, you've seen this before. But this is the timeline that New York State has given us so far of when we'll see these changes. I will say what we are hearing from Albany is to not make any changes at all until things are quote unquote official. So if you kind of trace these through the cohorts, you might notice things like 9th graders may not need to pass all of the set Regents exam that they currently would if we kept our regulations the same as they move through. We are still going to have all of our 9th graders take their algebra exam and everything that they would because we don't know exactly, and until there's official news, we are moving forward as though there's no changes. But it is helpful, I think, to kind of visualize when some of these things may take place. Can you go forward one more? And maybe one more. So I pulled these over. This, again, was a slide from our visit, but I thought they were relevant and interesting because the state has really tried to explain that their initiatives all do tie together. So they moved culturally responsive, sustaining education to the center of that circle. I know I just had Mike put something over it, but that thing that looks like a tree with hands, that's what that is. And then that social emotional learning benchmarks, the New York State standards and the interdisciplinary practices all do relate back to that portrait of a graduate. It's all connected. And again, we reviewed the implementation considerations, just kind of district to district. We're all kind of looking at the same thing ahead of us, which is how do we kind of scale this mountain, especially when we still have some questions. You will see me after I speak with you scooting out. I'm heading down to an IDAB retreat, actually, where this will be a topic. At my conference for the next 2 days, we actually have somebody from State Ed coming in to do a Q&A. We were able to submit questions. Our team had some really good questions that I brought forth, so I'll have even more information next time if you're interested. But we're all kind of grappling with what this means. And now we did some research on yes.
One quick question. On like the previous slide, it says something about performance-based learning assessment network plan pilot. Is this something that the state is actually thinking of, like implementing some pilot programs or trying to have districts create pilot programs before it's more of like a recommendation or widespread implementation across the state?
That's a wonderful question. They have not been very explicit about that. There are pockets of things being piloted. We've heard like the Ulster BOEs. There's these pockets of schools that are doing interesting things. A lot of them are making purchases with third-party companies that manage the PD and the data tracking and things like that involved. I've not heard yet of just sort of general schools being asked to be a part of a new and exciting pilot. But I think that they're kind of alluding to that might be an option, but I've not heard of any specific opportunities yet.
Right. Just from the standpoint of saying, you know, I get you get the 500 plus school districts and they're all going to come up with something, and the state has a tendency not to necessarily to do their own thing versus actually listen to the stakeholders and kind of get that implementation, you know, or get everything kind of assessed to figure out the questions and maybe the process and the rollout. They're not a very good on their history of rollouts. So just along those lines, I guess in the case of your conversations and as you have, you know, further dialogue with whatever, if there's anything to do to try and push that a little bit more, because I'm sure that there's a lot of districts that are doing their own thing, but not everybody needs to recreate the wheel. It's just sort of like come up with what kind of works and maybe make those suggestions to the state to help in the rollout or the planning of that sort of thing.
And I would say what you're describing is exactly what that PLC is.
Okay.
It's a bunch of school districts trying to come together and saying, we don't need
This
to,
is what we wanna
you're
do,
spot
and-
on.
yeah,
That's exactly
okay.
what Erie One BOCES is trying to do, is connect people who are grappling with the same exact questions, and what can we learn from each other, and can we have those conversations where at some point it does turn into advocacy of
Yes.
these are some things we think would work in our region.
This will work better.
spot
Yeah,
on.
and I'm sure it's the same thing, because one size doesn't fit all, given given the
Absolutely.
scope and the size of the state and the, everything that goes with it, whether it be, so needless to say, whatever we can do to try and get ahead of the curve and be involved in the conversation so that, our voice is heard and things become a little bit easier as opposed to being, being proactive as opposed to being reactionary. So,
Absolutely.
That sounds good.
And I think it's really helpful to have a whole strategic planning goal that's basically around project-based learning, being innovative, rethinking some of the things we're doing. I think we have a lot of educators in this district who have an eye forward and are very aware of what's going on and what's in the legislation, what's not. So I think we're in a good spot, but I totally agree. I think it'll be interesting how it all rolls out.
I think it's also exciting, the conversation around creating a curriculum vault regionally, an assessment vault regionally, where it's not districts working in isolation anymore. It's creating content and then sharing it with the entire region. So a baby step towards regionalization related to curriculum and assessment.
Absolutely. I also, Mrs. Taylor and I did some research around the Future Farmers of America and the possibility of bringing that to our students in Akron. We had a conversation via Google Meet with a woman named Sherry Lynn Lighthouse. She is the director of New York State Agricultural Education Research. And I did call her back recently to make sure I had all of my facts straight, because it can get a little confusing. But some of the things we learned is that to be able to be eligible to offer Future Farmers of America to our students, as a district, we must offer 3 courses in our high school in agricultural education. 2 of the 3 must be taught by the same instructor, and that instructor must be certified in or working toward agricultural education. She did make mention of sort of a 3-year grace period. So if we were to find someone who is willing to go down this path and become certified, we would have about 3 years to help and support them getting there. And actually, the New York State Agricultural Education Outreach Department has folks who will work with the person who is willing to become certified to look at their transcripts, make recommendations. Maybe they just need to take a test. Maybe they need some coursework, but they sound like they will be very supportive. There are some scholarships and grants that person can utilize to do this at minimal cost to their own pocket. So there's some options there. So we have to offer a minimum of 3 courses. One of them is living environment, which every school in New York State offers anyway. And then there are some other examples up there that I kind of threw up from one of the slides that she shared. We are offering a food science course this year, which is really exciting. And AP Environmental Science is also a course that would count. So we are offering 3 courses, but we do not have an agricultural certified educator at this time. So that would kind of be the next step, is finding someone who's interested in kind of making this program their baby and working with them on becoming certified.
We learned that in many cases, it's just a matter of taking the test to be appropriately certified, that a lot of the coursework that our science teachers have taken, or potentially a culinary teacher have taken, would qualify towards that certification. So it's moving forward and working with our administrative team and our staff to identify an individual that would like to champion the cause. I know Mr. Kowalski volunteered, but we're making him stay our school business administrator. But it's an exciting opportunity. Our work-based learning courses and internships that we offer would also qualify. Our entrepreneurialism course would qualify if we add the word leadership to the title. So we do have many of the components in place, so I'm looking forward to working with our team on those next steps as we're preparing for independent pathways for student graduation. I know that this is an area that is important to our community and many of our students.
With the restructuring of the science curriculum and the change from the living environment curriculum to the life science biology, would that suffice? Would this requirement change, since that's probably, I'm going to guess, probably no longer be part of the science curriculum because of the reorganization and the change in what the state is doing.
I'll be
in
honest,
biology.
that specific nuance did not come up in our conversation. So I can't say. She talked specifically about courses that schools, I mean, every school in New York State, like I said, is offering living environment, and it checks a box. You know, you're 1/3 of the way there if you're just offering that. We didn't really get into what the future could hold on that. She didn't allude to it counts now, but it won't count later or anything like that.
Next year, or actually this year, is going to be the last year that is a Regents level course. Now, I don't know whether the school could continue using that curriculum as an alternative, but you know, anybody taking Regents level courses next year is going to be, this year and here on out, it's going to be what we all grew up with is biology. So
I would be shocked if the content involved in that doesn't work for this, to be honest. I don't think they're trying to cut schools out of it.
What was nice is I felt like we made a new friend who's
Absolutely.
willing to work with us and to really look at what, you know, we're offering. There's a 1.5 credit requirement at the middle school if you would like to create a middle school chapter. And because we're small and one campus, we do have some teachers that are working between the middle school, high school. It might be a nice opportunity to support middle school as well if the interest is there by our students.
Absolutely.
For the board's consideration, we have an item under board discussion later in the agenda under strategic planning. If it's acceptable to the board, if we could move that conversation now, just to be mindful of the fact that Danielle has to hop in a car and drive to a conference, get her there a little bit sooner. So in regards to strategic planning, we wanted to bring it back to the board. We realize that we have a strategic planning committee that a couple of our board members are on. The structure of year one is a little bit different in that we don't have these multi-stakeholder groups that are meeting on a regular basis. It's more work that is happening with our coaches as well as in the individual buildings. So we wanted to brainstorm some possibilities with the board for what that committee involvement could look like this year. Danielle has created some ideas that we'd like to share with the board to get your feedback on.
I really want to make sure that you have a lot of really cool things to share when it comes to the committees, because there's a lot that's happening with regard to our strategic plan even already. And I don't feel like I've personally done a really good job of communicating them out widely. So that's kind of, I brought it to Mrs. Taylor and said, how can we make sure that the board feels involved and is aware of all these really neat and interesting things that we're doing in support of our strategic plan, being mindful of it's not like last year where we had these big group meetings where we were doing a lot of planning. Now it's action time. We're getting after it. So admin, coaches, pockets of teachers, things like that is kind of where the rubber's hitting the road. We have, with the coaching team, created a Google Doc that is, we call it the brag board, and every month the coaches kind of share just things that are going on in the district related to their goal. So that's something that could be shared with the board on a monthly basis if you're curious, if you're interested in just kind of having a bulleted list of what's kind of going on. We would, or that's, yeah. So the coaches meet once a month. It is 9th period, so it's a 2:45 meeting, which I understand is tough for those of us who work. But certainly we would welcome any participation and what feels right and fits in the schedule.
So there's DEI committee meetings, there's individual meetings that are happening in pockets in the buildings. For example, we briefly touched on that we're planning a district-wide day of caring on May 22nd. There would be an opportunity to be a part of those planning meetings and that committee work. I guess we were just looking for some feedback, if you'd like us to send you invitations to those unique things, if you'd like to meet monthly with the board, meet monthly with myself and Danielle to give you a general update of what's happening. And this would be in addition to the presentations that we'll be giving at regular Board of Education meetings.
Yeah, I think that any opportunity to involve the board was welcome. And then if, we can't make it or the alternate can't make it, we'll just, kind of work through what we can attend and report back on all the interesting things that you guys are doing.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Thank you, Danielle.
Thank you.
Very well. At the end of our presentations, hearing of individuals and delegations, I do have one pink card. The public comment session is for comment, not for question and answer. It is for community members to share their concerns or thoughts with the board. When speaking, please be sure to approach the podium, state your name and address for the record, and if you are representing an organization, we ask you identify. We ask you maintain a respectful demeanor and tone with your comments. Please direct all comments to the board members and not to other members in the audience. We are allowing each individual that has submitted a pink card to speak once, and that you limit your comments to 3 minutes out of respect for others in attendance. We ask that you do not identify individual staff members or students by name for critical comment. Please direct these matters to the superintendent outside of this meeting during school business hours in the interest of civility and respect of different points of view. Please do not applaud or boo speakers. The board will listen to all public comment, but should not be expected that the board will respond. The superintendent may respond and will request individuals to submit questions in writing so that we get back to you at a later time. The pink card that I have is from Miss Best.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
I could go on for lots longer than 3 minutes, but I will keep it short. I'm just bringing with me tonight a personal thank you from my husband and myself. We came down last Thursday night to take the tour of the facilities, the sports complex, the bus garage, and here. My husband now graduated in 1971, so he has not been in the high school in 54 years. He's been in my building and for voting and things like that. And he was just amazed. He could not say enough about all the wonderful things that he has seen. Just taking the drive through the sports complex, although it's not much there, just imagining what's going to be there for the kids and for the community, going into the bus garage. Oh my gosh, it's just, I guess I never realized how sort of run down it was, and now it's just fantastic. And I love the foyer out here, and just to sit and look at all those pictures, because I do a lot with the Octagon House and the Historical Society, to see those pictures displayed like that. And then Mrs. Taylor said that they were going to be interchangeable for at least for the next 3 years. But I was surprised, but I have been in and out and seen lots of things happening. But he was, and a lot of the people there. Unfortunately, there weren't a lot of people. I was a little disappointed that the community didn't. It's like almost a $30,000 million project. You should come and see it, but they didn't. But I'm hoping that there'll be another one as time goes on a little bit more, that we could do it again. And I just wanted to thank you, because I know that all of this is always because of our school boards through the years have always done their best for us, and they are. And we should always be talking proud about Akron, because what we do inside the buildings, and now we're just like a showcase. It's just amazing but I just wanted to take just a little time to personally thank you all. I know that you guys came, and wasn't it amazing? It's just amazing to go and see what is happening, and to believe here's Akron, and we're really a showcase, I'm telling you. So, but thank you so much. I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Best.
Just to piggyback, I will respond a little bit to that, just from the standpoint that I know in conversation with Miss Kirsten, Miss Taylor, that she alluded to that there were individuals that were new to the district, so it was an opportunity for them to see the district in its entirety, not over the course of 12 years as they progressed through the building. Other individuals who had similarly graduated or had been here on their 50th reunion and come back just to see even from a couple of years what the difference is. The other thing that was great about it too is just from the standpoint of, if you're not involved in something like that, as being a former employee of the district and transportation, not knowing that aspect of the school, it gives the opportunity of other individuals within the district to see what the situation was, where we're expanding, how it's going about, out. And then in general, I know other parts of it, you come into the district and you see the fancy bells and whistles and the pictures and the graphics and everything, and that's great. But when you go through and you're walking through and you're seeing that there is a pool pack replacement and boilers and the nuts and bolts of the building that you don't necessarily see, and half the time, I mean, fortunately, it wasn't the last part of the capital project where he took you up on the roof. But those are the sorts of things that there has to be a commitment to maintaining the infrastructure that is this building. And I can say that at least the one positive thing I think with the board, not only in this project, but the ongoing capital outlay that we're planning on utilizing now moving forward, it's the idea of maintaining the building over the course of time so that we don't have large-scale projects that need to address all the little nuts and bolts, but we can work forward to always maintaining this building's 100 years old. So it shows the progress, and it also shows the history, and we hope it's here for another 100 years. So we appreciate the comments, and yes, we'll probably hold another opportunity to share with the public and kind of show what we've got going on here. So much appreciated. With that, we're moving on to agenda item number 7, the building and department updates.
Good evening, everyone. For the high school, a couple things going on. We had our first Principals Advisory Committee last week, and it was interesting. We asked the students, what they really wanted, what do they like so far this year, and what do they see, what do they want more of? And one of the things that was really an overarching theme was they want debate. And I was really impressed with that. They want a debate class or a debate club. So that's something that I already put out to my teachers to see if someone would be interested in hosting a club this year. But ultimately, my goal to have a class next year, either a half year or a full year. So that was something that was really cool. Also, the kids really wanted another club. They wanted just a board game club. And that was something that we actually do have a chess club. Mr. Meek runs that. And I asked Mr. Meek, and he said 100% we can have a board/chess club. We can play whatever you want to play. So he's going to implement that. He just has, his soccer season is still going on. So once he's done with that, he's going to have that opportunity for those students as well. Our students last week were trained and retrained in both the SABRS mental health assessment as well as our See Something, Say Something campaign. So they all our 9-12 students had that training in our phys ed classes. And something really exciting, the Board of Regents asked Mrs. Saley, myself, and Mrs. Taylor to present to the Board of Regents at their November 3rd meeting, which is pretty spectacular. They want to see and hear more about our personal finance curriculum and how we implemented it and where we're going, where we started and where we are now. The state obviously has a big push for personal finance and to make that a mandate for all high school students before they graduate. So for them to ask us to present to them it's going to be a Zoom meeting again, like on November 3rd. I'm proud. Mrs. Saley's done a great job with her classes and really expanding and creating more opportunities for kids and really getting that personal finance aptitude for our students before they leave high school. This is really important. So that's something that we're proud of and we're excited and we're looking forward to presenting to them. So that's it for the high school. Also, we'll welcome back Mr. Brick. As Danielle said, if you look on the 4 screens, one of the 4 tables will show Audrey. Sorry. So we're glad to have him back, and he's glad to be back. He's going to hopefully get home early, get some sleep, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I was gonna say I don't really have much of an update because I wasn't here for a couple weeks, but the last day I was here was the homecoming day, and I have to say, like, homecoming in Akron is different than any school I could have pictured. It was awesome just seeing like all the students have all the this high energy and just really get along and united. Right to start the school year. I was even lucky enough to embarrass myself on the half-court shot, not once, but twice, missing that. So it was a great week, a good way to send me off before, obviously, my daughter was here. Then, going forward, I think my focus right now is just like the second half of the first quarter, trying to get the kids, focused and locked in so, they can, if they need more resources, getting their grades up, or, we have PSATs coming up too, trying to get kids ready for that. So, 2 days back, I feel like we're hitting more of a consistency flow from the student life here, but, it's good to be back. So.
Congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
Go Tiger.
Good evening, and once again, thank you. We truly want to thank you as the school board for everything you do, and I think the greatest compliment you received tonight was from Mrs. Best. She poured 50-plus years of heart and soul into this district, so for her to express her appreciation really means a lot, and I'm happy to hear her happy because she did a lot for us, so thank you to all of you for what you've done. Friday, we have 8th grade trip to Letchworth State Park, where our 8th graders will attend. October 24th, Friday, from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m., we have middle school Halloween dance in Gym 1. October 30th, we have our Student of the Month luncheon. And then November 3rd, we're going to have the Erie County District Attorney's Office is going to do an anti-bullying presentation for us. They'll send out an ADA, an assistant district attorney who will run the presentation. We've had them in before. They do a great job. They give a little bit more direct answers because that's their direct responsibility, prosecuting crimes, determining what's able to be prosecuted. So I like having the ADA come in. Sometimes kids are a little taken back with how direct they are, but I think it sends a strong message. They also talk about cyberbullying. So that will be November 3rd. Tonight, Mr. Morello, he was not feeling well. He asked me to touch on a couple things for him. First, he wanted to congratulate the football game for their overtime win this past Saturday against Maritime. The team is in position to make the playoffs now. He wanted to congratulate Blake Gerstung for breaking an all-time receiving record. He wanted to express, and I'm sure Ms. Koss will also express this. Elementary began their swimming unit today. Mr. Morello wanted to thank Coach Stolt and Miss Matusik for lifeguarding for us. And finally, he wanted to say that Alden High School has expressed interest in combining teams for flag football this year. Mr. Stoltman, their superintendent, has been in contact. They would like the practices to be at Akron. The coaches would be at Akron. He said the contract they propose is very similar to the wrestling contract. I believe they are trying to get a program off the ground, but Mrs. Taylor, I know Mr. Morello spoke to Mrs. Taylor, but he wanted me to mention that. Okay.
So I know Mr. Morello is going to work on getting a contract for the board to review for consideration. I know that Akron and Alden have partnered with things in the past, and Alden did express appreciation if we were able to have the opportunity to collaborate. I do see Alden as a partner for potential future collaborations related to regional opportunities for our students. One of the things that Mr. Morello stressed is that there would be no negative impact on Akron flag football students, as we would not make cuts on the Akron team, and Alden would be limited to the number of spots that were remaining on our team.
Thank you. Thank you. And again, thank you for all you do.
Hi, everybody. We have a lot happening in the elementary. First, I just want to say thank you to all of you for everything that you do to make Akron Elementary especially such a special place. So thank you for supporting all of our programs. We have an exciting couple weeks coming up soon, our Halloween parade. On Friday, October 31st. We will be parading down to Reagan's now, and then crossing over Bloomingdale and coming back up Bloomingdale. We're hoping that we can be outside, so 9:30, we'd love to have you if you are available. The kids would love to show you their costumes. They're very excited, and that will be on Halloween. We also just wrapped up Fire Safety Week, so we just want to thank the Akron and Newstead Fire Companies for doing such an outstanding job. Our kids look forward to it. All of you that have had kids in the elementary, they all look forward to it every year. Ken Pagels is turning 80 in December, and he is just like the most amazing man. Comes back, starts planning in the summertime, and he just did such an amazing job. So just want to thank them. Yesterday, we also did our Sandy Hook Say Something assemblies for our 4th and 5th graders. Also just want to shout out to Mr. Morello, who led our phys ed teachers and starting swimming back up again as of today. So that happened as well. Over the last 2 weeks, our students enjoyed the readings surrounding Every Child Matters Day that Miss Antoinette Abrams went around to every class and presented on Every Child Matters Day. The students from the middle school and high school did a phenomenal job coming in and reading a story and answering kids' questions about the meaning and significance of that day. And every student made an orange shirt that's hanging in our main elementary hallway. So that is exciting, and the students also look forward to that now each year. On Monday, we hosted 5 teachers from Orchard Park School District to come and see our literacy program. So I know you've heard us talk about other districts that have come. We were excited. Orchard Park actually came to see our 3rd and 4th grade programming that we're doing, and that was an awesome visit where they got to see our classrooms and then talk to our teachers about the work that we've been doing and share ideas. So that was great. And lastly, we just finished our first round of assessments for literacy and math. And what's been most impactful this round is seeing the teachers look at the data and adjust their instruction kind of on their own now. We have systems in place that we've worked on for a number of years, and just seeing that and being a part of those conversations is just something that I'm very proud of our teachers.
Also this Friday coming up, Mrs. Shoecraft is getting organized the jump rope for heart kickoff assemblies. Mr. Westmiller, Mrs. Shoecraft did an awesome job. I remember that as a teacher myself. The kids get really excited for the activity. This year's prize winners will get to watch our principals and some teachers compete in a dog bowl challenge where we'll eat cereal and see who can do it the fastest. So,
Out of a dog bowl.
Out of a dog bowl. The 4th and 5th grade students started their swim unit this week, as many have mentioned already. We'd just like to thank Mr. Westmiller and Mrs. Shoecraft for all their hard work in making it safe and successful for them to participate in that, and Mr. Morello for finding us our lifeguards as well. Several of our after-school activities have begun. We have a ton that are going on: the Boys and Girls Intramurals, Chorus, Orchestra, and the PTA-sponsored Lego Club. We're also excited to share that we have 23 students participating in Bookmark Buddies with the local library, and had over 60 students interested in the new drama club offering this year. There's currently a waiting list for that and a lot of excitement surrounding the new club.
Quick question. I heard a rumor that there might have been a wedding shower at the elementary school.
There was.
Is there
I got
anything you can share about that?
very much spoiled. My fiance came in and surprised us at our faculty meeting, and Mrs. Koss kept the secret from me, and I was dumbfounded at the moment, but it was awesome to get to introduce my fiance to everyone, the staff, and have a little moment for the two of us to introduce her to everybody, and excited to welcome her to our Akron family.
When's the official date?
October 25th. And we are not done planning yet. There's plenty of stuff to do. I need to make that very clear.
Anthony's been going around telling everybody, oh,
Yes.
we're ready, everything's good. And then his fiance came in yesterday and she was like, nothing's done, we're not ready, I don't know what I
So after they surprised me like that, and everyone told on me that I said we were pretty much done, I got to spend the rest of the night stamping napkins with our logo on them for the wedding. So I got punished and made sure that I don't say that anymore.
And one more question, will there be dog costumes involved in the dog bowl? Okay.
And you'll have to wear one too.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm in
We're gonna have to volunteer you for it.
Okay. All right, I'm happy to hear that.
Start training with a
Thank you,
dog
guys.
bowl instead of a cereal bowl.
All right, I prefer checks if there's an option.
Just some updates in the special education department. To piggyback off of what Caroline Koss had mentioned, we do have the special education department from Kenton coming to observe our elementary 1211 classrooms. It should come to no surprise that Akron Elementary has really led a lot of the work in the science of reading locally within Western New York, and so districts have picked up on that. Specifically, one of the challenges in a special class is that we do have to expose and educate our students at their grade level. So they have to have access to the general education curriculum, and our special class teachers in our 1211 side have really done a phenomenal job taking the CKLA curriculum and meeting the students where they're at and noting progress within their ability to read. And so Kenton will be coming on Monday to observe those 2 classrooms and bring back strategies within their own school district. And then I wanted to just update the board. Several of our students students prior to graduating will be linked with Access VR. This is something that we've done historically in our district. New York State is really encouraging districts to take advantage of pre-employment opportunities through Access VR, which allows students to start to receive those services at an earlier age, specifically at the age of 14. And some of those opportunities, should Akron continue to move in that direction, would be providing our students with job exploration counseling, work-based learning experiences, where they'd receive job coaching in the community, and it'd be a paid opportunity. Workplace readiness training and developing social skills, which would occur on campus by a trained Access VR coordinator, who would then be their job coach over the summer. And it would help to start the post-secondary options for counseling. So Mrs. Sorrentino, our acting secondary school psychologist, has really done a lot of the research on that, and we'll be in touch with families with applications to begin that process here at Akron.
Great. New face at the podium.
Good evening, everyone, and on behalf of the Technology Office, we'd like to extend our appreciation to the Board of Education this evening as well for all that you do. The Technology Department has had a really great start to the new school year. The team has worked on several different projects, which included moving the Special Education Office and Business Office to their new areas. Our office continues to support the ongoing capital project in a number of different ways, including the new PA system and work related to the bus garage addition. We installed an expanded computer data rack in the bus garage that's larger and more organized. This will accompany the new facility nicely. And lastly, in the department, we are continuing to review and strengthen cybersecurity measures. We believe this to be an integral part of continuing to have a secure technology network. Does anybody have any questions for the technology department?
No, I just want to say thank you so much for your leadership, Mike. Much
Thank you.
appreciated.
Thank you.
Mr. Quote? Yesterday, yes. Happy birthday.
Last but not least, the business office. Being that Mike was just up here, I do want to take a minute to jump ahead. There's several personnel items on the agenda that I want to touch on, but one of them, or rather two of them, are related to technology. Mike here tonight representing technology. Both Mike and Adam Close have appointments for your consideration this evening. Having worked in that department for several years, I'm very excited to see that, and very excited for our district. So very well deserved, Mike and Adam, for those recommendations this evening. Also on the subject of personnel, in the business office a few meetings back, we had a new district treasurer appointed. Carol Lavarnway will be starting next Wednesday, and she will be, in addition to her treasurer duties, be our primary contact for payroll once she gets her feet under her. So getting some well-needed hands and much-needed hands in our office. And another appointment is on the agenda, a recommendation for appointment tonight for a benefits and onboarding position. So hopefully by the beginning of November, the business office will be back up to full staff. Also, further down on the agenda is the response letter to our audit. The last three meetings, we've had something to do with the audit so far. If anyone has any questions about that response letter, but again, it's the same things that we've touched on the last couple of years, and it was pretty standard and a clean audit again. One thing that I wanted to add, and this was something I learned of just yesterday, as part of the ongoing federal government shutdown, the Impact Aid program, which our district counts on or has historically counted on for funds in our budget, is currently frozen. To give you an idea, in this year's budget, we've anticipated about $800,000. That is about 2% of the overall budget. $800,000 is a lot of money, but 2% of the budget is also, puts it in perspective a little bit. The issue at this point is the fact that the federal government, as many of us know, is shut down, but as of just a couple of days ago, the staff was furloughed that handles Impact Aid. and rather abruptly, word was put out that there's nobody to talk to about questions, that payments will not be issued, and that until further notice, the application process would be on hold. That hasn't actually started yet. The hope is that, this is not the first time there's been a shutdown, and this will be something that, given a few weeks or hopefully a few weeks' time, will resolve itself. From an Akron standpoint, again, $800,000 is $800,000, but we're talking about 2% of anticipated revenues. An article that I read, just to put in perspective, out in Arizona, a district was, it was actually an Arizona newspaper running an article because some districts there, given military bases and the reservation lands in that area, in parts of the state, up to 40% of the funding for some districts is from impact aid. And it's a far different situation, but still something that, in light of that information, wanted to at least share with the board. I'll certainly update you as I learn anything more. A group of business officials throughout the state that work in districts of what are considered federally impacted schools, either of having military bases with students residing on them or sovereign territory like here in Akron. We're in communication and at this point gathering information.
Thank you.
Very well. If that's the end of our administrative reports, student reports.
So I'll kick it off for the elementary. I met with Mrs. Costin and Mr. Buna the other day, kind of just touching base on my Read to Lead program that I'm trying to start up. I had looked at 2 books, Read, and The Story of a Book, both centered on reading for the kids, because that's kind of our theme for the time being. And once those come in, which should be pretty soon, I will record that and read that to the kids, kind of introduce myself a little bit. And to introduce myself further, eventually I'll be meeting with some of the 4th and 5th grade leaders that they handpick, and I'll talk to them about their experiences, what they want changed, what's going well, what's not. And every now and then, for some of those meetings, I'll bring in some other students from the high school, some seniors, some juniors. I'll kind of jump between grade levels for them to talk about their experiences with the kids and talk to them more about what they want with the district.
Thank you.
So my middle school report is very short and very last minute. Character counts lessons, as said by Mr. Caprio, start on October 10th. They will be rotated every lesson will be rotated periodically throughout Fridays to be a different period, so it doesn't take up the same amount of time each week. Students are enjoying not having to deal with homecoming activities anymore. It's a stress off of our shoulders. Upcoming events, the field trip to Letchworth, which I heard exciting news about. Kids are slowly but surely prepping a Halloween dance with Miss Lacey Cochran, and that should be fun.
Thank you.
So for high school, some things the students are enjoying was Klaus's field trip to the construction site. They felt that was very worthwhile. Thank you. And they felt it was a great opportunity to really see if they would like to be a union worker in the future. We just had the Junior Financial Reality Fair. I think you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they also seemed, vast majority of people enjoyed the wake-up call that it served for them. We just had the Junior Senior College Fair, where local representatives came to the MPR, made a table, and distributed handouts. The quote I got from that was, it was a good break in the school day, but for most individuals, they enjoyed it. And to come is the student government leadership program this Thursday, where we will be going bowling.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Very well. Next agenda item is superintendent's report.
Thank you. I have just a few items to share this evening. First of all, I just wanted to thank Mrs. Saley, Mr. Dimitrov. They put together a very nice presentation to share with the Board of Regents In my career, I've never known a teacher or administrator who's had the opportunity to present directly to the Board of Regents. So I think that is quite an honor for our district to be proud of, and congratulations to them. As Mrs. Best mentioned, we did have our community under construction tour on October 9th. And it successfully, I believe, highlighted the progress of Phase 1 and some of Phase 2 of our district's nearly $30 million capital improvement project approved by our taxpayers in May of 2023. All in all, there were approximately 30 people that attended. Some of those individuals were representatives from campus, CPL. We had a couple of board members who attended, which we appreciate, as well as some members of our administrative team. But we did have community members come out, which I really appreciated. As Mr. Polkowski mentioned, we had one family who was brand new to the district who wanted the opportunity to take a tour of the school, as well as those who have been proud Akron Tigers for many years, so it was nice to bring those individuals together. It was one of those events that I called Mr. Polkowski on the way home and said that was just a really feel-good event. I was very proud of the tremendous amount of pride that individuals expressed while going through the tour of our district. Overall, the feedback was very positive. So the tour did include the first floor renovations, our auditorium, the middle school boiler room, refinished gymnasiums, athletic complex, construction site, and the transportation facility addition. I wanted to thank Terra House. They provided a beautiful spread for us that was paid for by campus, so that was very much appreciated. We had the opportunity to provide a question and answer session. I thought it was also very positive for us that as we were going through and doing the tour, some of the individuals that were on the tour pointed out things that you don't necessarily see. When this is your home and you walk through the hallways every single day, you don't realize that, hey, maybe that could use an update. So an example would be when we looked at Gym 2 and Gym 3, a community member suggested, would you consider painting the walls in these gyms? We have these beautiful refinished floors, beautiful mats, but the walls definitely looked like it could use some painting. So that is something that we've added to our agenda for Friday for consideration for Phase 3. We did have a formal presentation by campus where they shared some of the suggestions for the Phase 3 work to continue, and these are items that were originally value engineered out of the project that we were able to bring back due to bid day savings. And that included wayfinding signage, a new electrical sign at the front of the school that would be a new item, the additional scoreboards in gyms 2 and 3 that we've struggled to keep running. They've reached their end of life, so we're excited about that, as well as enhancements to our Walk of Fame area beneath the new sports complex, and additional parking near our baseball diamonds. So we would really like to thank everybody who attended. Very much appreciated. It was a very enjoyable night, and I can't wait to do it again. It was a lot of fun. The last item that I wanted to mention, I may ask for some help from my friends who are also in attendance, but myself and Mrs. Jagello and Mrs. Kofta, we had the privilege of attending an ECASB-sponsored dinner featuring a fireside chat with the Commissioner of Education, Betty Rosa, and the Senior Deputy Commissioner, Jeffrey Madison. Commissioner Rosa and Deputy Commissioner Madison opened the evenings with some conversation around the new school year, highlighted some New York State Education Department priorities, safe and welcoming environments. The graduation requirements, I would say, took the majority of the evening, the conversation around that. For me, some of the big takeaways I received was the importance of creating individualized education plans for every student. So when we hear the term IEP, we think of individualized education plan associated with special education students. And Commissioner Rosa said, no, every single child in your district should have an individualized education plan with accommodations based on what they need to grow and learn and thrive, with individual pathways for them to explore different opportunities that they would like to work towards post-graduation. So it was, for me, an inspiring evening. Definitely challenges, including the professional development and some budgetary aspects of transitioning our traditional graduation requirements to a new pathway for students, but one that I am personally excited about. I thought it was a great event. There was also some conversation around the importance of providing mental health supports for students and some opportunities potentially moving forward for telemental health or regional opportunities. I know our district, our Erie One BOCES, has been very involved with the Smart Collaborative. Ms. File has been a part of that group that is focused on providing additional mental health supports for students across the region. And there was also some conversation related to federal funding and the impact, if that federal funding for education were to go away, the tremendous impact that it would have on special education students, special education programs, and literacy programs, where Title I funding does support many of literacy and AIS teachers across the state, including in our own district. We had the opportunity to have a little one-on-one time at the end, and I insisted, of course, on a family photo, so thank you for playing along with
Knew
that.
it was coming.
It was coming. But I found the commissioner to be very personable and down to earth and easy to talk to. It was a good event. Anything I missed?
I think the one thing that resonated with me a lot was the idea of the diplomas. So, you've got like that IEP diploma, the local diploma, and then your Regents diploma. But that's unique to New York State. You travel a few hours away and you're just getting a state diploma. So the idea of like having that state diploma, but having those seals or those things to, highlight in a different way that's not like disadvantaging a group of kids from being able to access next opportunities was really refreshing to me. And then I would, copy the idea of that whole individualized, not one size fits all approach for kids, that we know it works. So why are we not, getting creative on those ideas? So I left feeling like super charged up, and I was like, yay, like everything that I heard, I was just excited about.
Yeah, I agree. I've had a lot of concerns about the whole portrait of a graduate and what that will look like going forward. And after this meeting, felt a lot better, and it made a lot more sense to somebody who's not in the academic field. So I think it's going to be good going forward.
And then the only last item I had to share was I did send out the applications for students who may be interested in joining our Superintendent's Advisory Council. So there's still a little bit of time to apply for that, but so far we do have 36 applicants. So we're excited to move forward with that this year. That's all I have.
Very well. There's no questions. Moving on then to agenda item number 9, our board policy and development. We have 4 items on here. They're all second readings to policy adjustments. You may know that Ms. Kay had shared what some of those topics were last week. So those are up for their second reading and for approval. So the recommended action is that the Akron Central School Board of Education approves the new and revised policy consent items 9E through 9H.
Move.
Second.
Moved Ms. Kafka, seconded Ms. Kay. The votes being tabulated, I do want to again thank the Policy Action Committee. You took on a large task of going through all the policies, and it's good to see that they're gradually working through everything and being reviewed and updated or removed as necessary. And that agenda item passes. Item number 10, which is personnel. It is the recommended action that the Akron Central School Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, does hereby approve personnel items, consent items 10A through 10R.
Moved.
Moved Mr. Kenline, seconded Mr. Cena.
Playing second fiddle, it's okay.
There's more things coming up.
Oh, good, good. I'm on it.
And I'll just share as the board's voting. Mr. Schreiber's position on here is listed as temporary senior microcomputer tech support specialist. That is only because there is a backlog at civil service. But we do know that he is the only individual on that promotional list, so that will be changed once they are able to provide us with that list. So we had conversations with civil service today, and they informed us that that is the best way to appoint that.
Very well. And that agenda item passes. Agenda item number 11, district items. And the recommended action is that the Akron Central School Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, does hereby approve district items, consent items 11A through 11F.
Move.
Moved Mr. Cena.
Second.
Seconded Mr. Borkett. Questions or board discussion? That agenda item passes. Agenda item 12, special education. It is the recommended action the Akron Central School Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, does hereby approve special education items, consent items 12A and 12B.
Moved.
Moved Ms. Kay.
Second.
Second Ms. Jagello. The agenda item passes. Board discussion, agenda item number 13. The first topic there in regards to the strategic plan was already identified and addressed with Ms. Hawkins before she left. Second item there I have is in regards to NISBA resolutions. On Thursday of last week, I did attend the resolutions dinner. There were, I would say, approximately 30 people, probably representing about 18 districts. What we did is, as was shared with you previously, and some of you did respond back with some notes, was the 2025 NISBA proposed resolutions. This will take into effect, the meeting will be tomorrow evening, in which I'll be attendance virtually, and we'll go through all of these items. For the most part, the way it was handled was Ms. Sullivan with ECSB went through item by item. And we did have two individuals there that were from BOCES that I believe that were part of the resolutions identification. So as they were going through and NISBA was figuring out what was going to go on there and everything, they were the two components that helped summarize this and make this happen. But basically, Ms. Sullivan went through. She had reached out and shared what some of the comments were coming up in regards to how many people wanted to discuss at the dinner, but essentially went through item by item noted where districts were in support, what districts were in opposition. We had a little bit of a conversation in regards to that, whether or not it was a topic of discussion. A lot of the resolutions that were not recommended by NISBA that were forwarded, those are the ones that we discussed a little bit further. But essentially, we had a red and green card. So after we went through and had, very similar to how the meeting will go tomorrow, as you progress through the meeting and you went through each resolution, we would have some conversation about what was there, if there's any issues in regards to language, why sometimes some of the resolutions may have been something that was very positive, but then there was the recommended action that it wasn't approved, and some of that dialogue occurred. And then as we went through and finished all of that, each district would hold up the red or the yellow or the red or green card to kind of see whether or not ECASB was in support or not in support of it. So again, each district can votes for their own district. However, this way at least you got a feel for where ECASB was in general, and even how some of the districts viewed something versus other districts. So nothing major there, but just to give you an idea, for example, one of the items here was in regards to, I think it was number 22 and 23. 22 was in regards to the NISBA supporting legislation or regulatory changes to add financial literacy to statewide K-12 curriculum with additional state funding to support implementation. While the BCASB was generally in favor of it, one of the recommendations is that maybe not to recommend it from the standpoint that it would be a mandate and it would be the state basically driving curriculum. So that kind of tells you where something is from the standpoint of saying it sounds very positive, but part of the issue could be in regards to maintaining local control or having an unfunded mandate or having something that is driven by the state, not by local control. So something like that, I would recommend that we say no. We've had presentations in regards to what we've done as a district towards our financial curriculum. So while we advocate, that it's a good idea, maybe not advocating for having a curriculum or something that is driven by the state, but retaining our local control. Another item that was on there that was positive was basically along the lines of saying something like that the NISBA supports the development and implementation of financial aid that provides additional funding for rural districts for teacher retention and salaries and recruitment. NISBA said no, and the reason for it was the rural. Because if you could remove the rural part of it and just say that trying to do something that, whether it be rural, whether it be city schools, whether it be the Big Five, basically advocating saying we want to bring teachers into the fold. However, when NISBA presented that and said, hey, to the school board that was asking for that resolution, the school board refused to remove the word rural. So that could be, so again, just to kind of give you some of the pretension between one and the other. Something can sound really good about something, but then you have to look at the big picture and saying at what limits and in what direction. So we'll see where everything goes. The meeting's supposed to start at 4. Hopefully it doesn't go until 11:30. We'll get a response as to what the ECASB is going to send out a summation of what precipitated from the dinner, and then likewise we'll get we'll have a finalized idea of what the resolutions actually are once the meeting is concluded and NISBA shares all the information. So in all, it was, I see you have a question, Mr. Kenline. However, it was very good. This was the first time that ECASB has held this, and it was in regards to hearing from other COLSBAs that they've done this in other regions of the state. So this was a good way to kind of get on the same page with other districts within our area to kind of see where everybody stood. So,
what was the ECASB's position on resolution number 8, reducing the number of drills?
yes, I know you spoke to that, and ECASB said it was split. I don't have what they said specifically, but I can tell you in the general conversation, it was like the results they've got was almost a 3 to 4. So, or 3/4. So 75% were in favor of it, 25% were not. To your point, Mr. Kenline, the idea is that particular resolution was saying that it be resolved that the School Boards Association advocate for the number of lockdown drills to be reduced from 4 to 2. And the question about it was whether or not, I think NISBA was in favor of it from the standpoint, the way they advocated for it was saying that you could make it down to 2. However, a district could make their own, that's the minimum, that a district could increase it or make it whatever we wanted. So from our standpoint of a district, we could make it 4, or maintain it at 4, we could up it to 6. The counter arguments in regards to reducing it was because they felt in some cases districts may have overplayed or may over dramatized some of the things, and they felt that was difficult for students or may have caused issues in regards to the way that it was portrayed. So NISBA recommends the reduction. However, it was definitely a mixed bag and was discussed at length for those very points back and forth. So if it's the feel of the board that it shouldn't be reduced from 4 to 2, I gladly advocate for that and vote no on that.
I think you train like you fight, and the problem is that the argument for approval or supporting it was that by the time they get to high school, they've gone through this too many times. The trouble is, middle school, high school, they've gone through it, but they get complacent. And the number, if you cut down the number, you never want to have to go through that in real life. But the last thing you want to have happen is that you cut down the number of drills that these kids have to go through, and then something like this does happen. And after being in the military and you train to fight fires even though you don't have fires. And I just think it's a bad idea to lower, especially in today's climate. I mean, you take a look at what's happened in the last 2 months with the number of mass shootings, the number of student-involved shootings. It's not something that's going to go away. And I know it might be disturbing to the kids, okay, and it might be over-dramatized, but I'd rather over-dramatize and get the kids fired up or aware of what's going on than to end up having to go to 20 funerals because we didn't practice enough. I think it's just a very ill-conceived idea that we should cut down on that kind of training. If we could eliminate the problem, yes, but until we can come up with some way to do that, I think it's a poor idea.
Very well.
Yeah, I concur with Mr. Kenline, and it's not even just the student aspect too, it's also staff. So the more you train, the better you are at anything. And that's why we have, I believe it's 8 fire drills a year.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing, there hasn't been a school death in a fire in, I think, since the 70s. So.
And I know we advocate the same thing in regards to transportation. So, no, your both of your points are taken, and I'll follow that accordingly. Like I said, just because one organization or the other organization that we're a part of thinks one way, we can definitely think our own way. So, again, no, those points were brought up there. So, again, they're not the ones voting; we are. So, we'll do so accordingly. So if there is anything else that, even if you go home this evening and if there's something else that you feel is passionate in regards to that, and I appreciate your comments and again, the reasoning behind it, please let me know and we'll take that into consideration, for tomorrow. With that, were there any other items?
Yes. So, the board has received a copy of Duncan Kirkwood's book. This was the guest presenter that we had for opening day for our faculty, staff, as well as students. And I'm inquiring to see if the board would be willing to participate in a book club with me so that we could discuss chapters of the book during board discussion. Students, are you in? All right.
It's a very easy read.
It is.
But you
It
just
is.
get it done
So
already?
I was
I can't listen to him speak.
I was hoping that maybe we could commit to reading chapters 1 through 3 by our next meeting. It's not many pages. And then I'll put together a schedule from that point forward. Is that good with everybody? All right, I'm excited about it.
Well, if anything, the board is supposed to lead by example, and if we can't be the ones to read and take part in something to broaden our horizons and vision, then I don't think that we are setting a good example.
Could be a new tradition.
Are there any other items in regards to board discussion? If none, board correspondence, Dr. Rick Timms, State Aid, will be speaking Thursday, October 16th from 6 to 8 at the Columns. The annual convention and expo, October 23rd to 25th, taking place in New York City. That's upcoming here. Student President Board Member Program on Cybersecurity, Thursday, November 6th. Register with Ms. James by tonight. Pre-legislative session, Thursday, November 13th, 6:15 to 8:15 at Erie One BOCES. Please register with Ms. James by the 5th. Other upcoming dates within the district, Wednesday, October 22nd, flu shot clinic, 3 to 6 p.m. in Gym 3. GSA Interact Halloween Fun Night, October 24th from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. Elementary Halloween Parade, October 31st, beginning at 9:30 to 10:15. And our next Board of Education regular meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, November 5th from 6:30 here in the high school cafeteria. With that, we do have a need to continue in an executive session and would entertain a motion to go into executive session for the employment history of a particular person. Moved Mr. Borkett, second Mr. Cena. And that motion is approved. So we are in executive session as of 8:42. We do not plan on conducting any business following coming out of executive session. We thank everybody for their appreciation, gifts, and presentations. We thank all for those who attended both in person and virtually. As always, if any questions, please feel free to reach out to the board, myself, or the superintendent. Any student that is here for participation in government, please see any of the board members for a signature for your paper. And thank you and have a good evening.